So this is the 11th, 12th grade classes parallel lines, angles review, and that's what it's mostly about, but there is a proof that has been added to the back. It won't count as much, but you still need to try to do it. Alright, so first off, we're looking at the types of angles that are formed by different pairs going along here. It'll be the same drawing, just different letters to choose from. So make sure you understand the difference between corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, same side exterior. And it's a matter of just looking at the angle and saying, where are these two angles? Are they on the interior? Are they on the exterior of my parallels? Where are they? All right, Q and S. So when I look at Q and S, they're on this line and this line. So I don't even have to look at this bottom line on this one problem. So don't scribble yours off because you'll use it later. But those two are the only ones we're doing. So this is the interior, and Q and S are both on the exterior. So we know it's either going to be C or it could be E. Now, are they on the same side of the transversal that connects them right there? No, they're on alternate sides. So that would be C, alternate exterior. S and W, okay? Now they're using these two lines, so we don't worry about the top right now. Not even gonna look at that. These obviously are on the same side, but they are on the interior. This is the inside of these two parallels that they're on, and so interior, same side, interior. D. R and T, R and T. Now, R is on this parallel, T is on this, so we're not looking up here. T is on the interior space, but R is on the exterior. So that eliminates interior, exterior, anything like that, and leaves you with corresponding. I should have put one that had like none of the above, but I didn't. So R and T would be corresponding. They're both in the same position, and they would match when you have parallels. R and T, corresponding angles. Top left of its group, top left of this group, corresponding. And then that leaves T and S is right here. And so those are both now interior. So interior angles, they're not on the same side of the transversal, they're on alternate sides. So alternate interior, that would be B. All right, then if I asked you, if I gave you a number to fill in, angle Q is 110, go find all the rest of the angles on the drawing. Well, remember, we start with the group. Find everything in the group. Go down your checklist. Verticals, complementaries, supplementaries. I got verticals. I don't have complementary right angle box, but I do have supplementaries. Sitting on top of a straight line, 180 minus 110 gives me 70 and 70 for the vertical. So now I've got that whole group, and that group, if it's parallel, parallel line, parallel line, parallel, take your highlighter if you need to and think. It's going to jump from parallel to parallel, so it'll jump down to all these other three. So it'll slide down and match right here, and then it'll slide down and match right there. You will end up with R matching, top left, S matching, bottom right, 70 and 70, everything in the same place. T would also be 110 and W would also be 70. The ones in the same exact place. So you got your numbers. R is 110, V is 70, S is 110, and T is 110. Alright, then you get one where you got a little more of a twist to it. So I do suggest take your highlighters, highlight your parallels. Not everything in the world, just the parallel parts. And those are parallel. They're not, I think they needed to be marked, but we're going to use it. All right, so then start with the group that you know a number in. I know 105 here, so I will have 105 for the vertical. Same checklist, vertical, complementary, supplementary. Same thing before, 180 minus 105, 75. And just go ahead and find them all, 75. Over here I got a 60. I can do vertical. I can do supplementary, 120, 120. Supplementary, they make 180 together. So now I've got those two groups, and this is where you got to be careful making the jump. The smaller angles are better to make them jump. So like the 75, just concentrate on the 75 right here. In that group, in this group right here, the 75 is on the top right. So when it jumps, it's going to jump up to the other parallel. That's the only way it can go. It can't go sideways. Jump up to the same position, top right, and 75 would be right there. Okay? And then the vertical would match it. So you could have them both 75, 75. All right, now don't worry about the 105. We'll come back to it, look at it, and check something on it later. But right now, you don't want to make the 105 jump. All right, let's look at another group. The 60 over here. It can jump. This little small 60 is the number I want you to focus on. It's on the top left. If it jumps from parallel, slides up the transversal, sliding up, it'll jump right up here to E, and E will be 60. And the vertical will also match 60. So now we've got our main group. The one on the top, the one in the middle there, you cannot do with the jump. It has got to be coming from supplementary. 180 sitting on top of that straight line. I need 180. I've already got 60. I've got 75. This is just the top piece up there. When you subtract it all, you get 45, I think. 45. So 45 degrees right there. 45 right there vertical. Okay, you want to check it. Go back and look at that 105. Remember we didn't do the 105 earlier, but what does 60 plus 45 make? 105. That would be the same position as that 105 if you want to check it. 120, 45 plus 75 makes 120. You get that? You know you got it right. So we did a lot like this. We had a quiz on this in class. And one of the things I taught you is to look for keywords, like this has bisects on it. That's a dead giveaway right there. You don't even have to look at the drawing. You know this is going to be bisected. What does that mean? Cut in half. So that means I got two equal pieces, NO and OT. But if you see the word bisects, you might as well be thinking bisector. Definition of bisector. And so that's answer G. Okay. Next, we don't have a word on this, so let's look a little closer. 60 plus 20. 60 and 20 are adding up. Now, does it say 90, something special like 180 and 90? No. It just says X, Y, Z. X, Y, Z, that's this whole thing. So, little angle plus little angle equals the whole big angle. That is angle addition property, or postulate. I should say postulate, my typo. Okay, angle addition postulate. Next, do you know what that symbol means? If you know that symbol, then you know the answer. Because it only means, it means 90, but what is that symbol? Perpendicular. You need to know it for every time. That's an easy symbol for them to slip in on you. So that means you're going to get 90 degrees right there for angle 3. And then finally, we got one of our parallel things. If you did these on the top, this shouldn't be any big deal. Angle 1 and angle 2. What type of angles are they? Corresponding angles. So that's answer C. All right. I want you to write the converse of this statement. And converse is when you switch the hypothesis coming after the word if and the conclusion coming after the word then. So this is the hypothesis and this is the conclusion. So you don't move the word if. It still starts with if, but you say if she will, or if, you can change the tense. If she does take away my phone, abbreviate here, comma, then you can make it sound right for English, okay? I talked back to Mom. And all I want you to do is switch the hypothesis and the conclusion. If she does take away my phone, then that means I talked back to her. Yeah, okay. So there you go. Converse is switching those two parts, and that's all you have to write. All right, and read it, write it so I can read it. All right, next we have a proof. Now this is not the proof that you're going to have on the test, but it will be one that you have seen before or practiced with, so just go with it. They're not going to count as much as the ones on the front, but they will count, so don't just give up. Try a few and see what you can get. This one, of course, you know the first line and the first reason are free ones. These are always the same. This came from the given right there, so that's given. Then you have another free one, which is the prove. This part will all be filled in for you. So really you just have like one free one, and that's the original given. So, you know, it's easier when you got all the stuff listed for you. I don't want you to have to fill it all in. But don't skip it and go to number 2. AY bisects XZ. So think about that. This line has cut this other line in half. How do I show that? Equal hatch marks. Bisect. Cut something in half. Now it looks like it's 2 equal halves. Well, when you do that, when you put those hatch marks on there, you have just done step 2. Why did XY match YZ? We put the hatch marks. Why did we put the hatch marks? Up in step 1, what made us put the hatch marks? The word bisects. So when you have that word, you use the definition to tell you what to do. Bisects means cut it into 2 pieces. Well, there's my 2 pieces. I knew it because I bisected it. Alright, then you came up with 16. 16 up here is another part of the given. So that was like a freebie. Okay, it was given, but you need to put it on the drawing. Don't forget, put it on the drawing. Alright, so then if you look at the drawing, don't just put it and say, I'm done. Look at it. So I got 16 here. Normally, hey, I'm going to go ahead and move it over there. And that means because it's already equal. YZ is already equal to XY. Look up here, number 2. YZ was already matching XY. And now we put in 16. So that means YZ is going to equal 16 as well. But if you need to, line it up. Remember I showed you in class. XY equals YZ. XY equals 16. So YZ is already 16. That was that transitive property. Okay, just transferring the equality over. All right, then this pops up, and this looks a little scary, but go look at it on the drawing. Take your highlighter if you need to. XY, let's see here, XY, that's this picture right here, and added to YZ, that piece right there, equals XZ, that's the whole thing. 2 little pieces adding up to be the big. That's what that's setting up. And you know that is segment addition postulate. Little piece plus little piece equals a big. You can do it with segments, think straight line segments, or you can have it with angles if it was going to be an angle drawing, but this is all segments. Alright, so then the 16s get plugged in, but it's not called plugged in, it is called substitution. Alright, just working out the math here. 16 plus 16, 32. That's just regular old addition, not segment addition. Segment addition is when you say little piece and little piece. This is just adding up 16 and 16. Regular old addition. And then this last step is switching them around, and that was the symmetric one. But you don't have to do that one on the test. I promise you that won't be on it. But all it was flipping them around. So study the ones we went over in the notes. Study the ones on your worksheets. And good luck.